We stand and lift up our hands, for the joy of the Lord is our strength. We bow down and worship Him now. How great, how awesome is He. We stand and lift up our hands, for the joy of the Lord is our strength. We bow down and worship Him now. How great, how awesome is He. So together we sing. Everyone sing. Holy is the Lord God Almighty. The earth is filled with His glory. Holy is the Lord God Almighty. The earth is filled with His glory. The earth is filled with His glory.
We stand and lift up our hands, for the joy of the Lord is our strength. We bow down and worship Him now. How great, how awesome is He. And together we'll sing. Everyone sing. Holy is the Lord God Almighty. The earth is filled with His glory. Holy is the Lord God Almighty. The earth is filled with His glory. The earth is filled with His glory. And it's rising up all around. It's the anthem of the Lord's renown. Yeah, it's rising up all around. It's the anthem of the Lord's renown. Hey, it's rising up all around. It's the anthem of the Lord's renown. Yeah, it's rising up all around. It's the anthem of the Lord's renown. And together we'll sing. Everyone sing. Holy is the Lord God Almighty. The earth is filled with His glory. Holy is the Lord God Almighty. The earth is filled with His glory. The earth is filled with His glory. The earth is filled with His glory. And it's rising up all around. It's the anthem of the Lord's renown. And it's rising up all around. It's the anthem of the Lord. Come on, sing it one more time. Say, it's rising up all around. It's the anthem of the Lord's renown.
Yeah, let's give the Lord a shout of praise. Well, we're so glad you joined us here today at Avoca. This is my first week sans Jeremy. He's at the beach, so go easy on us. We're going to do our best. I have a Connect card. Okay. If you're new with us today, there's Connect cards in front of you in your pew. We'd love to have you fill one out, and you can either just leave it in your pew or drop it in the offering on the way out. If you guys want to pray with me, and we'll continue worship. Oh, God, thank you so much for allowing us to be here today, God. I just ask that you would stir something new in our spirits, God, this morning. I ask for a new awakening, God. I ask for your healing power this morning, God. I just ask for your Holy Spirit to be present and with us today, God. It's in your name I pray. Amen.
The sun comes out, it's a new day dawning. It's time to sing your song again. Whatever may pass and whatever lies before me, let me be singing when the evening comes. And we sing praises to your name. Praises to your name. A name that's so much higher than all names. And all honor to your name. We give honor to your name. A name that's so much greater than all names. So be lifted up. Be lifted higher. And be lifted up. Be lifted higher. We sing praises to your name. Praises to your name. A name that's so much higher than all names. We give honor to your name. And all honor to your name. A name that's so much greater than all names. Sing it with me, church. We're singing. So be lifted up. Be lifted higher. And be lifted up. Be lifted higher. Higher. We're singing. Be lifted up. Be lifted higher. Be lifted up. Be lifted higher. Sing praises. And we sing praises to your name. Praises to your name. A name that's so much higher than all names. We give honor to your name. All honor to your name. A name that's so much greater than all names. Be lifted up.
before I even knew what love was. You brought me here to rest and have given me space to breathe. So I'll stay still until it sinks in, and I will lean back in the loving arms of a beautiful Father. You're beautiful, Lord. And I will breathe deep and know that He is good. He's a love like no other. Lord, you will never leave. Your love sustaining me. Before I even knew what love was. It's amazing, it's amazing.
lean back in the loving arms of a beautiful Father.
I will
Breathe deep and know that He is good. He's got love like no other.
I don't know what weights anybody has come in here with. And y'all barely even know me. It's my first time up here singing, but I just felt from God to tell whoever, if it's multiplicity of people, then that's good as well. But there's a rest in God's Spirit for you today. There's a rest. He said, come unto me, you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. You will find rest for your souls, your emotional state, your mental state, your will. You'll find rest. He's come to give us rest. And I don't know who's been striving or who's been trying to make it all work, but the Lord is going to do the work for you. He's going to complete the work He's begun in you. He just wants you to rest in His love, rest in His compassion, rest in His truth. Spend more time with Him. Soak up moments like this as much as you can, because He's going to complete the work He's begun. Author and finisher of our faith, knowing the end from the beginning. He's a good, good Father. And so there's a rest here. Cast all your anxieties on Him because He cares for you. I pray that settles in your spirit today.
Let's just sing that chorus again.
And I will
Lean back in the loving arms of a beautiful Father. Oh, just lay it on Him. Breathe deep and know that He is good. He's got a love like no other. So we're gonna lean back in the loving arms of a beautiful Father. We're gonna breathe deep and know that He is good. He's got a love like no other. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. You're so good to me. Sing it out with your whole heart. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. You're so good to me. One more time. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. You're so good to me. Thank you, Jesus.
Well, I think that was pretty amazing, huh? Great job. I am sure Jeremy is proud of you guys this morning. So just a few things that are going on here at Avoca. So next week, if you'll remember, we have our prom time starting up at 9 a.m. next Sunday morning. So if you're interested in getting involved with that, be here at 9 a.m. They're meeting in the youth room over across into the other building. Also next Sunday night, the men's group is having their Up in Smoke. So they're going to have lots of food. So guys, if you haven't gotten involved with men's group yet, next Sunday night would be the perfect time to do that. They're going to have movie edition. So they'll show a movie and eat lots of food and fellowship and have some fun. Something else coming up for the kids, the Easter event that's coming up will be on Friday, March 26th, and that's going to be at nighttime at 7 o'clock. They're going to have a scavenger hunt, a flashlight scavenger hunt, and a movie night. So if you would like to get your kids involved with that, go on our website. There's a link that you can go to and register your kids so that we know that they're coming. That would be very helpful. A few things that you can do to get involved with that event. We do still need candy donations, and we also will have a sign-up sheet out at the kids' table in the lobby to sign up to help with that night, volunteering in different areas. And then last but not least, I brought this fun little trophy up. If you all remember, we started this a couple years ago, and then last year we weren't able to do it. It's the March Madness. The youth group does this, and it helps our missions. And so if you'll go online, there is a link for you to fill out a bracket, and the winner will get this nice little trophy for the year. Let's see. If I'm not mistaken, last time we did it was 2019, and Brett Green got it for the year. So I'm sure Amy's had that sitting up on your mantle, right? It's been sitting up on the fireplace mantle for 2 years now since we didn't do it last year. They canceled March Madness. So okay. I think you should, though, Amy. So everybody go fill that out, and I think you can make a donation, if I'm not mistaken, to the missions for our youth group. All right, I think that's it. Are you ready? All right.
All right. So, I know I don't get up here and speak much. So when I do, I just want to take a second and just thank you all for a couple of things. One, I know I'm not really new anymore. I think that's worn off. I think I'm here, right? But I just want to thank you for just how welcoming everyone here has been to me and to my family. And for those of you who have kids or kids in the youth, I thank you so much for just trusting me with that. It's something I take really serious, and I'm really, really thankful for that. And if you feel like the youth group is doing well, I would encourage you to thank one of our volunteers, because they are awesome. Holly, Kristen, Amy, Ashlyn, Jared, Amanda, we have a really good group, and a lot of what we do wouldn't be possible without them. So let's jump into today's message. If you saw our Facebook post, then I've conducted a little bit of an experiment, and it really wasn't for this, but I asked a lot of our kids, some of our youth, but some of the little kids, describe mom and dad to me in one word. Now some of them cheated and gave me 2 or 3 words, right? But without a doubt, the number one answer was busy. That was number one. My mom and dad are busy. I don't think that should be a surprise to any of us, right? We are busy. We talk about how busy that we are. We tell folks we are busy, right? I mean, have you run into someone out at the store you haven't seen in a while, and they say, "Hey, how you doing?" "I'm busy. I've got a lot happening." We almost say it with a sense of pride, right? But then when we hear our kids say it, I don't know, it has a different meaning. It hits us in a different way, or it did me, because I'm with a lot of you there. I think my kids would describe me as busy. And I'm kind of okay with some of you all thinking I'm busy, but for some reason I don't want them to think that. I want you to know that this sermon is not just for parents. It's not just about parents and their kids. But how many people in your life, if I went up to them and said, "Hey, describe this person in one word," is it possible they might say busy? They have a lot happening. So let's kind of answer a couple of, questions. One, is there anything wrong with that? Is it okay if we're busy? Right? Is that sinful? Is it bad? If it's not, then why do I feel kind of bad that my kids think I'm so busy? Right? So we're going to basically, we have one scripture, one passage, and we're going to stick here all day. Okay? It's Luke chapter 10. And in verse 38 it starts, it says, "As Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman whose name is Martha opened her home to him. And she had a sister, and her name's Mary. And Mary sat at the Lord's feet, listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. And she came to him, and she said, 'Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work all by myself? Tell her to help me.' And Jesus, this is how he responds. 'Martha, Martha.'" It's almost like you can hear the tone, right? "Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about many things, but very few things are actually needed, or indeed, only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." So let's just kind of picture this scene here, right? Jesus is in town. This lady Martha, she knows him and says, "Hey, Jesus, come eat at our house," right? "We would love to have you over." We can all relate to that, right? And she has a sister, and her sister's name's Mary. So they get to the house, and Martha's running around, cooking the food, cleaning up, doing all that stuff, right? And Mary is sitting here listening to what Jesus is saying. And Martha finally gets upset and says, "Jesus, why don't you tell her to help, me, because she ain't going to listen to like me. Have her help, me." And Jesus says no. He says no because you're worried about a lot of stuff, but only a few things are really needed. Actually, only one. Now, we're going to kind of come back to that, but when Jesus says really only one thing is needed, I think he's saying get your priorities straight. You get number one right, everything else will take care of itself. He says, but Mary's chosen what is better, and I'm not going to take it away. So if you've ever heard a message preached about this, Martha really gets a bad deal, okay? Most of the time, what you hear is, be a Mary, not a Martha. That's kind of what you hear, okay? But Martha does a lot of good, stuff. First of all, who was it that invited Jesus over? It was Martha. What, Mary? It was Martha. She brought him into the home, okay? Another thing is, it says that Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. Not that she just wanted to do it. They had to be done. Now, in that time, that's what was expected of the woman of the house. When you had a guest over, it was your responsibility to take care of all the stuff. Cooking the meal, all of that. She was doing what was expected of, her. So one of the things I would tell you to kind of think about, how many times do you say, I have to do this? I have to. I'm going to tell you something. That's the great thing about the country that we live in. You don't really have to do anything, right? I was talking to a guy once, and he was complaining about the amount of hours that he worked in a week. And I said, well, tell him you're not working that. You're not working that much. He said, I have to. I said, why? Why do you have to? He said, well, we just bought this new house, and I've got these new cars, and I've got this and that. And I said, see, you don't have to. You chose that. You chose all of that, right? You could scale back. You could drive a used car. You could get a smaller house. The life that we have, our busy life, has not been thrust upon us. Think about everything you're busy with and how much of it you chose. You said yes to that. I think if we're honest, we can all relate to Martha here, right? I mean, as I tell the story, how many of you are thinking, that's kind of me? Somebody, I invite them over, and, I do this whole, we got to make the fake house and clean it just perfect and everything, right? I don't know, that's what happens in my house. And I'm not the Martha, it's my wife, right? And she'll say stuff like, well, we have to dust. We have to do this. Why do we have to do it? Probably for the same reason Martha was. If Martha hadn't have done stuff, there'd have been a lot of gossip about Martha around town. Did you hear Martha had the Son of God over and didn't make him an appetizer? Lord, have mercy. Let's stone her. Yeah. I think we can really relate to her because she's busy. And she's busy with things that she feels like she has to do. But I think it's really important what Jesus says here. He doesn't say that what Martha's doing is wrong. He doesn't say it's a sin. He simply says that in this moment, what Mary has chose is better. It's just better. It's not that Martha's doing something wrong. It's just she could be doing something better. I think that's important. I also want to talk about, he talks about all these things that she's doing, but few are actually needed. Think about your busy life. This was a big one for me. I think about how much I'm doing and how some of it I don't need to do. It's just fluff. It's just extra. It's me. It's my OCD. It's actually something that our pastor has really helped me with a lot. Be a little more laid back. Not everything has to be just so. But ultimately, Jesus doesn't say that what Martha's doing is wrong or sinful. He just says there's something better. Okay, Preston, well, that's great, right? But what is it then? This is, as I prayed through it, this is what I felt like the Lord laid on, me. Being really busy is not sinful, but it is dangerous. It's not sinful, but it's dangerous. Just like if you were to get into the car with my daughter. That's not sinful, but boy, it's dangerous. Right? Or maybe forgetting our anniversary. Not sinful, but it's dangerous. Or it probably would be with mine. The dangers of busyness ultimately, and I could focus on so many things, but I'm going to hone in on two. It hurts two relationships in your life. Your relationship with God and your relationship with the people you care for. I'm going to tell you a couple of stories here. There was one time I was a senior pastor, and I was working on something. I'm on the computer at home, and I'm doing it. And Riley, our middle child, she was about this big at the time. She came in, and I remember she had her sketchbook and her pens. She came up, and she said, "Daddy, can me and you draw?" And I said, probably, I don't even know if I looked up much, but I was like, "Baby, Daddy's busy." I think about how many times I've answered my kids while they look at me from the side. Don't even look at them because I'm busy. I'm working on something. And I remember she just said, she's standing there and she said, "Well, okay," and walked off. I know I made the wrong choice on that day and that moment. You know how that I like know? Because I remember Riley's little face. And I remember she wanted to draw. But for the life of me, I have no clue as to what I was working on. Uh-oh. That big, important thing that I was so busy with, I don't know. But I remember her. And that's a moment I'll never get, back. Kind of when this whole busyness thing really hit, me, I was with a friend, really good friend. And I hadn't seen him in six months. That already sounds crazy. Really good friend, hadn't seen him in 6 months because we're so busy. And we sat down and we talked and we caught up with each other and all of this, and we were leaving, and I said, man, we can't go this long, right? And he said, yeah, for sure. And we shook hands, and I said, well, call me. He said, I will. I know that you're busy though. And I was saying, yeah, I know that you are too. And I was walking away, and I stopped and I said, wait. I said, do you not call me because you think I'm busy? And he said, well, at times. And I said, I do the same. That's what I do. I've had my phone out getting ready to text you, and I think, man, he's kind of busy. I know he's busy. I know he is. I won't bother him. And I said, you know what? Actually, I'm not that busy. I'm not that busy. If you call me, I'm not that busy. I can answer it. I can text, back. I can meet for, lunch. And as he and I talked, we wondered how many other people we had isolated and pushed away, not even by being busy, just by saying it. Just by saying it. Because let me ask you, has that happened with you? Has there been somebody you've wanted to call or text or just hang out with? You get out the phone and then you think, I know that they're busy. I know they're busy at work. This just happened. Or man, it's soccer time. I know he's going to be coaching. I know this is happening. That's happening. I won't bother him. And you're doing it out of respect, right? I don't want to bother him. Now flip that around. How many people do you think have done that with you? Have had you in mind? Maybe even somebody sitting in this room is thinking about somebody else in this room saying, I really wanted to holler at them, but man, I didn't want to bother them. And me and my friend, we realized right then that we had alienated ourselves just by talking about how busy we actually were. Now, I'm going to tell you the one that really hit me. One time I was praying, and my prayer started out, God, I'm sorry I haven't spoken to you in like a week. I've been so busy, but I've been busy about your stuff. I've been busy with ministry and family and all of that. And I said, but I know you understand. And I will tell you, God just impressed on my heart. I understand. I understand I'm not the priority in your life, at least not for this, week. I understand you have better things to, do than take 5 minutes out of your day to speak to me. I understand, just not the way you think. I understand, just not the way you want me to understand. I think about how some folks, they bring their Bible into church and we carry it around, and little does everybody know that's the first time we've touched this thing since last week, isn't it? And it's not because we don't love God. We come in and we say, God's number one. He's the best. But I'm just real busy in the week. I'll tell you one that really got me. This one's going to sting. I'm going to tell you, it stung me, especially if you're a sports parent, okay? I was taking my son once, I think it was my son, to soccer on a Sunday. And I'm telling him the whole way, God's number one. He's the most important thing. And he said, well, Dad, why are we skipping church? I thought, good question, but I didn't say that to him. I said, son, you're going to get it at some point. How can I do that? How can I say, hey, this is the priority in our life and in our family, But when it comes down to actually choose, we're going to choose something else. And I just always said, well, I have to. I'm actually going to take this time. I don't have this in my sermon, but I'll brag on my son for just a second. Because this was him, it wasn't me. He is a soccer nut. I mean, just that's all he thinks about. It's all he does. And he accomplished a major goal of like his, and that was making a travel soccer team. He had one game, and then he found out that he was going to have to miss a lot of church. And he came to me and said, Dad, I think I want to quit the team. If I have to choose, I choose church. I thought, bro, you're way ahead of me. So, okay, we've got the problem down, right? We see it's dangerous. You know, Preston's up here. He's making good, sense. He's looking good while he's doing it. But what do we do? I mean, we are busy. How can we not enter into that danger zone of busyness? One that will affect our relationships with God and those that we care about in such a negative way. This is what I want to do. I want to give you a plan. I'm going to give you a plan. The first two parts of this plan are very easy and short. Part one, number one, stop advertising it. Stop telling everybody how busy you are. What's the point? What does that honestly do? I asked myself, that, and I thought, I really don't know. The only thing I can possibly think is it makes me feel important. That's really the only thing I can think that it does. I mean, if I go up to Rob and I say, Rob, I'm busy, man, listen to all I got, what does that do for him? Nothing. The only thing it's probably going to do is make him think twice about calling me. Stop advertising. And when you stop advertising it, you're going to become more available to others and opportunities that come along. Now, I know that part sounds a little scary. You're like, I don't want more to come along. We're going to get to that. That's at the end. Part two. This one hit hard for like me. So part one, you don't have to do nothing. You just got to quit doing it. You can do part one now in your head. Okay, I'll quit saying it. Check. It's done. Part two, you got to stop believing the lies. See, Satan has convinced us of something that's a complete lie. He's convinced us that there's 8 days in a week. Right? We all know we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and someday. Someday. S-O-M-E day. Man, we have a lot planned for that, day, right? Someday when life, it settles down, we're going to work on our marriage, we're going to spend time with our kids, or we're going to serve more at church, or we're going to start this or that. The thing about someday is it doesn't come. It's a lie. It's an illusion. This last week, I had somebody very close to me die. And I cannot tell you how many times since then I've heard someday. Man, we had planned on doing this someday. We had planned on this someday. Someday isn't coming now. As I was preparing for this, I heard, they said it was an old saying. I've never heard it. It said, if the devil can't make you sin, he'll make you busy. He'll make it where you can't have an impact on anybody else. The only thing that someday actually holds is a bunch of regrets. Okay, so part three. Part three. This is where you actually do something. Something pretty simple, though. Go home and write down all that you're busy with. All of it. Write it all down. Not only the things you're busy with, but the things you wish you were busy with. You know, like, hey, I wish I could spend more time with the kids. Put that down, right? I want to do this. I want to help out in youth. Hint, hint. Write it down. Okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to prioritize them. You're going to rank them. 1, 2, Giselle. Rank them. Okay? Number 1 is what's most important. You just go right down the list. Okay? It's easy. That's the easy part. Here's the hard part. Start making your schedule fit your priorities. That's so important. Because, see, here's the thing. That list, those rankings are not just for show. Okay? If your priorities don't match what your schedule is, then at worst, you're kind of a liar, and at best, you're a hypocrite. Because you're saying, this is the most important thing, but I'm not doing it. Right? You can't say family is the most important thing in my life, but not spend time with them. You can't say God's the priority in my life, but I'm not going to devote any time for Him. And it's real simple. The way that you do it is whatever's most important. That gets put on the schedule first. Okay, that gets first dibs. Okay. Now I have a visual example. I got some youth kids here. Of course, I got to include the youth. Come on up, girls. And they're going to do a little presentation. Okay? So girls, y'all just stand behind the table here. We haven't practiced this or anything, so this could go off the rails quick. I don't know. All right, girls, so you all have some stuff here, okay? And this is kind of going to reflect my life and my schedule. Okay, so these right here are my 3 big things, okay? This big one, this is God. He's number 1 on my list. This is God. This one right here, actually, I'll make this one. This one's number 2. This is my family. Super important to like me. And this is 3. I picked this one because it's a little dirty. Might even smell. That's these kids up here. They are number 3. Okay? All right. Now, these things here, these littler things, these are the Martha things. They have to be done, right? Like meeting with like Jeremy, right? I have to. I don't want to do it. I have to. I have to go to elders meeting, right? I don't want to. No. But you kind of get what I'm saying. These are things I have to do. Okay? Now, there's a bucket right there. Pick up that bucket. Okay? Now, this right here is all the hundreds and thousands of fluff things I have to do. Okay? Just a ton of that. So, girls, I want you to put, this is if we do it wrong. Okay? Dump all of my not that important things into the bucket. Yeah, hold on to the bucket. There you go. Very good. So I've got all of my fluff stuff in there, things that, probably really aren't that important. Now put all my Martha things in because this is typically how we do our schedule. This is typically how we do our life. There you go. Now, my important things. Put in God, family, and youth. Put all that in. That's God. That's got to be all the way in. That's got to be all the way in. No, you cannot take out nothing. So, okay. Now, take out these rocks. Obviously, it doesn't fit. It's not going to work, right? Take out all that. Yep, and that's probably good enough. Grab the other bucket. Yeah. Okay, now let's do it the way it should be, done. Put in God first, because I said that's number 1. Now put in family. Because remember, now youth, Jesus said only one thing is really needed. So if I take care of that one thing, everything else should work. Now put in all my Martha stuff. Now dump in all my fluff and all that. Very good. All in there, and I even have room for a little bit extra. Thank you, girls. Y'all go sit down. Everybody clap at them. They did a good job. Y'all go back upstairs. So I think that's a cool kind of visual to show. Get the first thing right. Get the things that are important first. Take care of that. Everything else will take care of itself. All right, last thing, part 4, last part. Once you got all this going, you're going to think, wow, this is cool, this works, this is good. One last thing you have to do. You have to guard this. You have to protect it. Okay? Because now that you're not advertising it, and you really do have some free time, because as Tobias was even saying, and they sang about it, God gives you rest. Right? God has given you rest. And now that you're not advertising it, more things are coming your way. You have to protect it. How do you protect it? No. That's it. That's the magic word. No. Preston, would you like to make 500 cakes for the church bake sale? No, I wouldn't. No, I'm not doing that. Preston, would you love to start a new ministry on the weekend? Nope, I wouldn't. I'm not doing that. Just say no. And this is probably a whole nother sermon, so I'm going to keep it brief. The reason that some of us are so busy is because we say yes to everything. Yes, I'll make those cakes. Yes, I'll start that. Yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll volunteer. Yes, 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 yes. And the biggest issue I see that people have with saying no is they say, but that is a good thing, Preston. That's a good thing. How can I say no? It's like saying no to God. It's saying no to church. It's a good thing. You have to learn to say no to good things. See, here's the thing. Every time you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. And every time you say yes here, you're saying no. And every time you say no, you're saying yes. Okay? Now, I know that I'll explain that just a bit. But your priorities are straight. And if you're clear on your purpose with God, you say no to anything that takes you off of that. I'll tell you something I had to do. I told the youth group about this a couple of weeks ago or a month ago or something. We really were focused on starting a Wednesday night thing for the youth. And I thought, I can't do it. I can't. I'm going to have to give up something. Time with my family. My marriage can suffer a little bit. Something's got to give. And I know the last time I was up here speaking, I told y'all how much I love coaching soccer. I resigned from that. I said no to soccer, which is a good thing, to say yes to them. Because remember, soccer wasn't one of my 3. Soccer is not my purpose here in this, life. Let's look at Jesus. Found some interesting things. He says no. He actually said no in our passage, right? Martha says, Jesus, will you please tell her to help, me? You're asking Jesus for help. And what did Jesus say? No, I'm not doing that. Right? He said, no, she's chosen what's better. I'm not doing it. There's a passage where Jesus is in Capernaum. I can't pronounce that. And there's a line of people that are sick and possessed. And the disciples say, Jesus, there's these people here. They want you to heal them. And Jesus says, that's not my purpose here. Let's go. And they went somewhere else. He said no. And I thought, Jesus, I was reading, I'm saying, Jesus, all you'd had to do is turn to the crowd and say, pop, healed, done, I'm going. But he didn't. He said no. I'm not healing the sick. I'm not casting out all their demons. That's not why I'm here. I'm going over here. He said no to that because he had to say yes to something else. You all know how Jesus fed 5,000 folks with some fish and some bread. Well, the next day, they come to him and they're like, Jesus, we're still following you, man, but we're kind of a little hungry. We need breakfast. He says, no. No. And then they say, okay, we're not following you. John 6, or chapter 6, verse 66 says they no longer followed him. Jesus didn't run and say, I didn't know that was going to hurt your faith. He said, okay. Jesus says no. You have to guard your time. Guard your time. And saying no is the most efficient way of doing it. Guys, I really don't know how to end it. I'll tell you this. I remember in college, I was taking a college child development class. And the professor came in and he said, kids are stupid. I was like, wow, glad I got a good one. And he said, they don't even know how to spell. He said, I want everybody to write down how you think a child would spell love. And I remember I just wrote L-O-V-E, like whatever, dude. I know that, And some people wrote L-U-V, And he told us, he got done and he looked at them all and he said, you all are stupider. Y'all got it. All of you are wrong. He said, a child spells love, T-I-M-E. And I think he's 100% right. One of the things I do with my kids every year is I get each one, I take them, I get them alone, I just hang out with them, and I ask them one thing. How can I be a better dad? I do it once a year. How can I be a better dad? Without a doubt, what they say all the time. I wish I had more time with like you. I think we're all that way, right? I think we're all that in a way. We all feel love through time. Somebody took the time to write me a card. Somebody took the time to give me a call. It's not what they did, it's the fact that they took time. So guys, I know that today's message may have been challenging, but I really hope it was encouraging. And if you felt convicted, I hope you feel empowered, that you have a strategy now that can be used to hopefully settle down what might be a too busy life. And my prayer is that you'll make a commitment for yourself, for your kids, for your family, and for your Heavenly Father, that you'll cut some things down if you need, and have not just make room, but make a priority for those things that are truly important to you. Guys, let's pray. Father, I just thank you so much for your word. I'm amazed every time at how it guides us into a message that we probably need to hear. And Lord, I think it's amazing that this is what you would have us hear about, since we've just been through a time that we should have had more time than any other people in the history of time. God, I thank you that you're jealous of that. You want our time. You want us. Father, I just pray that as people that heard your word, that if you want them to make any kind of change in their life, that you give them the strength, the courage, and the wisdom to do exactly what you would want them to. I pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Guys, I'm not going to take up no more of your time and make you busy. So you all have a good rest of the day.